Welcome back to another episode of Umrate Podcast. You got Grant, we got Eli here with me as well. Thanks for tuning in once again. What we're gonna do on this little bit of a circuit that we're going here, just with talking about different options that the Pistons have in this upcoming NBA draft. Talk about a couple different guys already. Last week, I believe it was Cam Whitmore and Taylor Hendricks. So this week, we're gonna touch on the Thompson Twins. So we'll touch on the Thompson Twins, and then what we're also going to do to kind of kick things off is kind of talk about Monty Williams. Looks like the deal's like officially been inked. He had his press conference yesterday. Just wanted to kind of dive in on that a little bit as well. So yeah, Eli, I'll kick it to you. Just wanted to see, yeah, just your thoughts overall. Looks like Monty Williams is officially going to be, on that on our sideline this year for the foreseeable future. So wanted to see what your feelings are around that overall.
Yeah, no, I guess I'm excited that it's officially done. I know we touched on it before. I think he's one of the better coaches in the league. Will bring a good culture and kind of like jumpstart and initiate what should have been happening here, or what could happen here with the players that we have on the roster, with the future picks that we're going to talk about. I think we have a lot to look forward to. Books are clean. I'm excited that it was it's finally done, and we learned a little bit more information regarding, why the deal possibly wasn't done, sooner, and just some of his family, things that are happening within his own life. So, it was interesting to learn some of that. But overall, I'm glad it was done, and so really a groundbreaking deal. Biggest coaches deal ever. I think he's gonna want to come to prove, a little bit to prove, things didn't end so well in Phoenix. He built that team up. They blew it up when they got KD. I've heard he wasn't necessarily an idea of his for that whole situation. So, it's kind of fresh start for him, fresh start for us as Pistons fans. And, I think overall it's more positive signs for the Pistons. I think, the last thing I'll say is, sometimes it takes a big splash to jumpstart something big. And going out and getting him, hopefully having a healthy Cade, hopefully having Ivy and one of these picks Duran back, this could be the beginning of a snowball effect. So that's kind of what and I'm glad to see it finally inked up.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Yeah, some of my key takeaways, I think overall, I was actually able to watch his press conference yesterday. And thing that I thought was pretty cool, everybody except for Bogdanovich was there on the team. So that's I look at that situation. I think about when I watched Ime Udoka's press conference, and there was only one player there, and that player just happened to be from the same place that he was born. So kind of had that connection. But I just thought that was interesting. I thought that was something that was very telling, just from this team, and just like I think the respect they have for him too, overall. So, but yeah, I think I'm just excited. I mean, I think he spoke highly of our core, the players we got. He's made some comments about how Jaden Ivey might as well have his mail delivered to the facility, and then he talked about how Cade, they had to basically like kick these guys out at night because they're just in there around the clock. And yeah, it sounds like he's pretty much been texting players. He said he was impressed that in this day and age everybody's getting back in touch with him. Just like a lot of these things, you're just like great to hear. It sounds like it's not that I track every new coaching hire, but I feel like just when you have a team that is where it's at, where we are, you could have a whole bunch of 19, 20, 21, 22-year-olds. You never really know like how engaged they really are after going through what they're going through right now, just from like the losing standpoint. So, yeah, just the last thing I'll just kind of touch on as well is I think he coached Chris Paul, if I'm not mistaken, when he played for the Hornets, and he also coached him, obviously when he was playing in Phoenix. Top 5 point guard all time, and I feel like I looked earlier, if I'm not mistaken, he had some of his best years when he played under Monty Williams. So you just hope if Cade is who we think he is, it'd be very ideal. This is a very ideal combination. Could probably help out Killian Hayes as well. I think he took some major steps last year, but I think just some new blood in there, like you said, and just you got a guy that literally like that kind of sort of took that Suns team, similar to when he's taken like our team on, had like some younger guys, two, 4 years in, and they literally doubled their wins
Yep.
year to year. So I'm hoping he can do the same for us.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess I'll try to use this to shift gears here. You brought up Killian Hayes, and I do think he took steps last year. I looked at the stats earlier today because I came to the realization that if we were to draft either one of these twins, Killian Hayes would probably be on the way out. But I looked at his stats, and I think it was 10 points, six assists a game, but the struggles are he shoots like 37% from the field.
Mm-hmm.
That is just an Achilles heel for a point guard in these days.
Yeah.
These players here. I think it's interesting. So I don't know which one you want to start with first, but I don't know if you came to that same realization, but I think if we were to take either one of these, that backcourt is pretty crowded. And,
yeah.
So
that's what I was going to say, because I was like, obviously we were going to dive into like fit, right? So like, you don't like these guys, they already kind of mirror just like a height standpoint, kind of like rhyming a Cade almost. You got Killian, that's also just in this same range. And yeah, I mean, it really would be, I think that would really literally be like a writing on the wall type deal, because I'm looking at Amen's numbers right now. I mean, yeah, like he could definitely be like pass the ball pretty well, a lot of that in his game. So I'd agree with you there. You're probably right on that.
Yeah, so no, for sure. I don't know. You want to start off first, or?
Yeah, no, I kick it off. Yeah, so I think over the last week or so, watched some Amen Thompson highlights. Yeah, he's just like I say he's your typical shooting guard, crazy athletic, great passer, does everything like decent. I'd say shooting is solid. Definitely some, obviously a little more room for growth there. I think he's a lot farther along than a lot of guys we see like at this point in their career, which is always a plus. He reminds me, just even I think said quite a bit last week with Ken Whitmore. I don't think they don't remind me of each other, but he's just very polished for just being like 19, 20. So I thought that was something that was very impressive. I do feel like he would be a solid fit. I don't think this is like our like biggest need as to like getting a guard. My hope is that we would probably target like a 3 or a 4 before kind of going to the well for like the third or fourth year in a row. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, based on what I saw, just from like a highlight standpoint, wouldn't be opposed to picking this guy up. But like we just kind of talked about, Killian would probably, that would kind of like be like writing on the wall for him that it's gonna be time for him to move on.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. And so I took this over. I guess before I hop in, I agree with you as far as fit goes. And I don't know if it's the best fit. It would be them just completely giving up on Killian Hayes because he did show promise last year. Bare minimum,
Yeah.
pretty good passer, pretty decent defender, and healthy. So I think that does something, but I think it's it just will really show how we feel about that situation, and so because I think we have lots of front court as well, as far as Bagley's kind of on the block,
Yeah.
and Isaiah Stewart's kind of in an interesting spot as well. So it's going to be I don't know. So I guess I agree with you on there. I think another twin, and that'd be Asur Thompson. And where's my little notes at here? But the first thing I want to point out is I didn't realize that they weren't in the
that they weren't what?
In the G League.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they played for like overtime elite league. So in my head, when I was when I kept hearing their names, or even I guess even kind of seeing overtime league, I guess I didn't fully register that is a whole separate league. So I kind of fell down a rabbit hole looking into that a little bit,
Yeah.
uh, and and just kind of the viability of that. But so this is only the second year of that league in general. Kind of interesting. I'm gonna spend like 1 second on this, but $100,000 to every player that signs to him. If there's 3 programs you go into: $100,000 annual, a scholarship, and you maintain your college eligibility,
Mm.
or they'll put $100,000 in escrow for you, and if you don't touch it, you maintain your college eligibility.
Okay.
And
I like that.
yeah, so I thought it was kind of interesting. Their claim to fame kind of be a Barlow. He played for the Spurs last year. Was not a name that I was familiar with, but he was the first player to make it to the league from them. And last year for the Spurs, he averaged 4-3. So not the most promising, but looking at him, he's like a 19-year-old kid. Would have been an equivalent of a one and done. So obviously,
Yeah.
some promise there. So that was kind of the little bit look. But Azar, the things that stood out to me was he has been named the MVP both regular season and playoffs for them this year. He averaged 16, 7, and 6. Shot 30% from three, not the greatest. 67% from free throw, also not the greatest. Watching his highlights, the things I'll say, also considering I'm not 100% sure about the league, but him and his brother were top of the class. Like top 15, top 20 players in high school, so they would have been able to pick and go. Whether North Carolina, Michigan, they could have picked their points probably wherever they wanted to go. So I had not a doubt of their viability as players.
Yeah.
But the things I'll say is just raw, athletic, and him in particular is very defensive minded. He was a lot of defense to offense. He was stealing the ball. I think he averaged like over 2 steals a game, over a block a game, and he has like a 7-foot wingspan. So I think that's a bit of a unique combination. And then I guess the last thing I'll say is, looking at this and reading articles and everything, they're saying that absolute best case scenario, he's like a Jason Richardson type, is whatever. Freakish athletic, could be explosive, lots of skills in the dunks. He's great at playing the lane, and so that's kind of what I was looking. I see in him just to be a way just to. It would be a kind of an interesting situation for us to do this, but depending on what falls into our plate, if we could get off Killian Hayes, maybe circle back like we did last year, move back it like what would be. We traded Jeremy Grant and came back with like the 12th or 13th pick in the draft.
The Knicks.
I can't see nobody giving us somebody that high for Killian Hayes, but depending on what we're cooking up, I could see us moving off Killian Hayes and going ahead and getting a younger player like this and just seeing what they have.
Yeah.
Because not that Killian Hayes is that bad, but it's also, and I think for as tough as it is, he came over here at 18, 19. He's been in the league 4 years already, showing you what he is. And it's not a bad player, but it's also, it's just not going to work for what we have going. So I could see them doing it, and it would be a little unorthodox, like you said, going to the well that many times in a row. But if you truly believe in players and think you could have greatest young, fresh backcourt in 2 years, you got Duran already and some cap space. I wouldn't be absolutely shocked if they took a splash on either one of these.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how the league is now. Like everybody trying to load up on the 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" guys that can play the 2 through the 4, small ball power forwards, point forwards. I think it's definitely like I can see him playing both of them playing a couple of different positions, just within like a rotation. Do you at all worry about like competition, like because I don't know, like the guy Amen Thompson, like it said he shoots like 67% from the field, but like it was a lot of dunks, layups, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of around the rim. Not trying to take anything away from them, but it's I see a couple of the G League guys that came out, they seem to all contribute pretty quickly, and it's kind of telling that the one guy from the overtime elite, was just kind of.
I know I agree with you on that. That was I'm probably view these kids. I mean, I think I'll put it this way: if they did this equivalent in the G League for the 1 year, they would be looked at as like the third pick in the draft.
I think so too. Yeah.
Also, that much promise because they were that explosive, and it is kind of interesting. And they played together. I did it, like I said, I did a deep dive into the league itself, and they're getting solid players.
Yeah.
Couple like top 50 guys have signed with. So I don't know. I find it interesting.
I do too.
But I am
yeah.
about that in general. I'm worried about the competition. I also think the whole season was like 20 games. There's a couple of red flags there, but I think this is the time where there's so many weird things happening. The first pick in the draft is, playing in the league against, I don't know. It's just kind of odd. It's like the whole thing's weird. He's getting guarded by Perry Ellis, with Perry Ellis even playing the G League right now. It's just
Perry Ellis just catching strays. You don't even know
it. Hey, it's true though, man. But no, so I am worried about it. So I think I would hate to pass on one of these guys in such an odd draft, and I think you don't know what leagues are going to stand, and I don't know, but I did doing research. I don't want to say this, but a glorified like pro prep league. Like they're
I think like I am like kind of like an IMG Academy type deal, maybe like was it like where
they
go Monte Verde?
Yeah, yep. They travel the country playing top prep leagues. Schools like
Oak Hill and
so
Sierra Canyon. I think they're kind of like
the Sprite where LaMelo Ball played. Things like that where they're. So I don't know. It's interesting. I think they should, for the sake of the league, I don't think they should maybe try to play some pro league teams. Maybe try to play some European, play some Australian leagues,
travel around a little bit,
to get a level up on the comp. And I don't know, but I would hate to pass on one of these guys. And if they would have went to Kentucky and did the same thing, they would be the second pick.
Right.
Yeah. So,
and I think they're both averaging like 16, 5, and 5. I think those are pretty formidable stats. Like, I feel like there's a lot of upside there. They're both very explosive. Both play defense. There's a lot there to work with. Like you said, it might. And it's not even like even the competition. Even if it is a little low, it might take them like 30 games instead of like 15 games to like really really get it rolling, get it figured out. So, but no, I think there's definitely some potential there. And yeah, you never know, man. Like it's I think I feel like I've heard that the Hornets might already be kind of sold on Brandon Miller. And yeah, a lot of these teams, they start taking swings. Like Bill gonna be available. Zion gonna be available. It's about him might possibly being available. Dame, like something could happen in that top 5 to really kind of shake up who's even available to us. And I just I trust that Weaver gonna he gonna make the correct decisions. So
I think you got to take a look at these guys because it's at least I'm bringing them in. I'm seeing what they're about. I'm seeing how they work out with the players that we have, available for some competition for them. And because I don't think they should be punished for trying something new. I don't want, Brandon Jennings was punished for trying something new.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Maybe not so much, but Lonzo or the LaMelo them boys are kind of punished for their unorthodox approach.
Mm-hmm.
So I would hate for that to be similar on this, and we could be sitting there with a real gem and and throw some dynamite on this stuff. So I think, and also I think everybody's saying the guy you review Amen is a little better. Like more in our ballpark as far as top 5, and the one I'm looking at, a few slots behind him.
Yeah,
and but that interesting because my guy won the MVP, so it just kind of is, it's the whole kind of weird when you consider that, So,
and I think, and that sound like more, and this is where I'm, it always kind of turns into the media, just like they just start studying these kids from 2 years out. And I think I've heard how Asur might have, like I heard his jump shot might might not be as effortless as like Amen's. So that's kind of the
Yeah,
probably the really the distinguishing difference. That's really like nothing. And he
right.
essentially answered that by being MVP of the regular season and of the playoffs. In my eyes, that's kind of how I look at it.
100%. Yeah, no, for sure. So I don't know. I think we're gonna draft is next week.
Yeah.
I think a week from today, maybe a week, maybe 8 days. But
From tomorrow is it 22nd? Yeah, Thursday.
yeah.
Right
So
now,
I think
live.
we try to get one more of these in. Look at a couple more players, and then try to do a little live draft or something. We'll talk about that. But I think exciting time, and I think with how odd this draft is, some guys are in that. There's some diamonds in the rough. There's some people getting, the surefire guy is already saying he ain't gonna play this summer. Next thing I know, he might not be coming over here due to contract issues. Who knows what's happening? Whenever there's people are so blinded by one guy, people are going to fall through the cracks, and I feel pretty good about that. So
yeah, real quick, where is Gabriel Procida? When is he gonna come over? You think?
Yeah, I don't know. He in that Ricky Rubio deal. In everything.
Just slide when he feel like it.
Yeah, I don't. Hey, he might as well come over, but
why not? Come check it out. Just curious. So, like I said, he was also like a guard that I'm pretty sure that they like 6'6", 6'6", 6'8", shoot, athletic. So I was just curious.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's all I got for the people.
We'll be back
be back with y'all next week. For the draft to see what Troy's got up his sleeve.
Yes, sir. All right. Peace.